I finally realized that my business was working in the early 2000s. It was because I started getting recognized. I started showing up in local newspapers and receiving awards. I had become a finalist for Young Achiever Awards, which was pretty cool. And I won consecutively 3 years in a row Small Business Champion Awards of our territory state for 2007, 2008 and 2009. I was like, yeah, okay, that's a hat trick. I'm gonna stop there. But yeah, I knew that we were successful because I didn't have a life. All I did was look after my kids, take them to school or daycare, and do cakes, and that was it. Just make cakes, hustle. It was just, there was not much time for anything else. The success was being booked out all the time. Back then, if I had a little birdie on my shoulder telling me what to do, I wish I had known to put my prices up, but hey, that came with self-confidence, so I didn't put my prices up at that point. I was just absolutely booked out and burnt out, so I learned a lot of hard lessons when doing that back in those days. But to add on to that, what did I learn? I learned that I remember having a thought going, oh my god, is this what I've set up for myself? I'm literally only getting 4 hours sleep a day. It was ridiculous. I was thinking, oh my god, what have I done? But that's what success sometimes looks like, but then that pushes you even further out and makes you grow even more and figure out, well, there has to be more to life than this. I need to create something that doesn't have overheads, isn't taking up my time 24/7 pretty much. I was a young mum of 3 at the time as well, so that was pretty full on. But what kept me going when things got hard was the fact that I had to do it for my children. I had learned from my dad that you need to work hard. You do need to come up with something eventually that can earn money while you're sleeping. You put in the time. I was in my 20s. You put in the time now, it'll pay off in the future. My kids were my purpose. They always have been and always will be. They're my purpose for everything I do. Yes, I do have my own life besides my children with my beautiful husband, but they were my drive, my passion, the reason why I got up every morning. Life at that time was a blip. I don't even know how I did it, to be honest. My dad was around, so he helped with pickup from daycare and school, but besides that, I was basically a single married mother. So I don't know how I did it. I did everything, and obviously superwoman. Now that I look back at it. Was there a time I wanted to quit? Yes, there was a time I wanted to quit. I wanted to throw, this is about 2010. I just wanted to throw a cake against the wall. I was done. I was so over it. I was burnt out. Again, my self-confidence wasn't that great because I didn't raise my prices. I was booked out, absolutely booked out at top capacity. Obviously I look back and I think, God, I was crazy. I wanted to quit so bad, and I wanted to figure out a different business of what I could do from all my teachings from my dad, create an evergreen business that makes money while you sleep. And you can enjoy life more and not have to, hustle and grind 12 hours a day in a small business. You got to figure it out. And so I put it out to the universe. One day I was standing at the oven and this weird thing happened. And I just was like, well, universe, I surrender to you. God, I surrender to you. And, give me something that doesn't encounter overheads, doesn't encounter all my time and energy and all that sort of stuff. So I literally just stood there in a moment and just put it out there into the world. Now, Obviously, success doesn't happen overnight. Most successful people, you don't see the years behind them. For me, it's been since 2010 that I put that out there into the world, to God, to the universe, and we're here in 2026 now, and this is it. This is the moment. This is the moment that I know, after all the failures, after all the successes and the failures and life, I know it's time. What was the most hardest part about being a young entrepreneur with a young family? The hardest part to me would be the fact that my daughter turned 10 and I went, oh my God, where did life go? I had just been so busy running this cake business. Hey mister, how are you? Personally, obviously you struggle in business, but for me personally, every single failure has to be a lesson. It has to be. If you don't take it as a lesson, then dude, what are you doing? Like, why do you think things happen? Things happen for you to learn from, and if you do not learn from them, you're like in a negative mindset. Yeah, so if you're not learning from your failures, then you need to rethink that. Losing my dad, the biggest lesson from that time of my life was my priorities completely shifted, and I learned to smell the roses, because we're not here for a lifetime. Like my daughter was 10. It was like, where did this time go? My kids were getting older, but my firstborn was 10, and that was a shock in itself, because the reality is we're not going to be here forever, and we need to make the most of it while we are. So why do we continue to carry around baggage and negative mindset? All that sort of stuff. It's ridiculous. We just need to have a more positive outlook on life, and you'll be less stressed, you'll live longer. There's a lot of health benefits to it. Don't let anyone get under your skin. Don't let any situation get under your skin, and if it does, learn from it and move on. 4 years in running my cake business, successful cake business, after these multiple awards and all that sort of stuff, I decided to do a little bit of marketing different. And my mum had mentioned that there was a market stall for sale at Mindle Beach Markets, which is the biggest market in the Southern Hemisphere, which is in Darwin in the Northern Territory. I'd grown up with this market, and oh my God, it was the best market to go to. Best food, best knickknacks and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so I inquired, and the location was smack bang in the middle of the market on the beach side. So that was pretty cool. We'll insert some photos here. Now, I ended up running this for 7 years straight, and we did cakes the size of muffins, and we called them Cuffins. And it was another huge success. It was great. It was fun. We met a lot of great people, but it was when, shoot it fan, that I ended up selling it, because I just couldn't mentally do that as well. So yeah, that was a pretty full-on thing, because we did Mindle markets and we did Palmerston markets as well. So Mindle was on a Thursday night, Palmerston was on a Friday night, and my dad and my cousin built a custom trailer for us to display all the cakes in and that sort of stuff. And Dad wanted me to be independent and be able to hook it onto the car, reverse it out, and drive down, set it up, and Bob Jarni. So yeah, I was able to do that. Did that for 7 years. Very interesting journey, living the market life. But when I first started that, I would take really big display wedding cakes and that with me, and wedding cake displays with me and that sort of thing. So it was quite good exposure for being a home-based cake business, getting out into the public for people to see. So with that, that was one part of the journey as well. In 2011, my dad, being my hero, my best friend, my whole world, basically. Like, I just don't know what I'd be able to do without him. Didn't know what I would do without him. Suddenly passed away in March in 2011 with a heart attack. So we didn't have any warning sign. Well, we sort of had warning signs, but not that we would have known. Yeah, it was one of the hardest times. I would say it's the hardest time I've ever had to go through. It rocked my world, it broke my heart, it broke my soul. I stopped the cake business for a little bit. My best friend was able to run the market business for one of the seasons just while I got myself in a little bit of a better place. Grief obviously really shakes you to a core. My dad was my superhero. I honestly didn't think he'd ever die. So that was a big wake-up call. And with that, I instantly became my mum's carer and, was raising the 3 kids, running a market stall, 2 market stalls, and the cake business. So yeah, life was hectic, you could say. I had to clean mum's house, do the shopping, take her to appointments, do all that sort of stuff, plus my own household, and also try and deal with my grief. That would be one of the most lowest rock bottom points in my life, where I didn't have much control over how I felt. And from that deepest, darkest moments, I was able to eventually turn it around and learn from it and grow from it and grow with it. And that's what I did.